Okay, number one. Which expression is not equivalent to negative 6 times 4 minus 9? Okay, to solve this problem, we're going to want to find out what each of these equals. So, first things first, let's simplify 4 minus 9. Okay, 4 minus 9, I have a positive 4 and a negative 9. Signs are different, so find the difference. 9 minus 4 equals 5. I have more negatives, so it's a negative 5. So then we have negative 6 times negative 5, which equals a positive 30. So we want to find which is not equal to a positive 30. Okay, so a negative 6 times 5, well, a negative times a positive, negative times positive is a negative. So 6 times 5 is a negative 30. So right away we found our answer that was not equivalent. Number 2, which of the following expressions can be written as 1/10 times the quantity of x minus y? Well, let's go ahead and see what this does when we distribute this through. So 1/10 times x, and then 1/10 times negative y. Okay, 1/10 times x is 1/10 x. 1/10 times negative y is negative 1/10 y. Okay, let's see if anything matches that. 1x divided, no. Negative 1/10, I don't see any negatives there, no. 1/10 x times, no. 1/10 x minus 1/10 y. Perfect, that's exactly it. Okay, so there's D. All right, number 3. Which expression has a coefficient of 2? Coefficient. Okay, coefficient means the number before the variable. So the coefficient in this case would be 3. The variable would be x. Okay, so coefficient of this number would be negative 4. Variable would be y. So which has a coefficient of 2? All right, this coefficient here is negative 2. Coefficient here is a positive 4. This coefficient, if I didn't scribble over it, would be a positive 2. There we go. Coefficient here would be 8. That's why that one's not right. So C is the correct answer. All right, number 4. Identify the like terms in the expression 7x plus 4y plus 3xy minus 8y. So like terms, that means I can add x's with x's. I could add y's with y's. I could add constants, or the numbers, with numbers. Okay, so let's see. I have 7x. Do I have any other x's? No. This right here is xy, so those could only go with xy's. I have 4y. Oh, I do. Okay, I have 4y and I have negative 8y. So I have my positive 4y, negative 8y. Let's look for that. Positive 4y, positive 8y? No, because of this negative sign. Positive 4y, negative 8y. There we go. That's why B works for me. Cool. All right, number 5. What is the constant in the expression 7m plus 3.5? All right, constant, that just means the number without any variable. So if I said 7x plus 2, the plus 2, that would be the constant. If I said 3x minus 4, then the negative 4 would be the constant. So 7m plus 3.5. Well, 3.5 is the constant. That's the number without the variable. So we just look through our answers, and that's why 3.5 is our constant. All right, let's scroll it on up. Okay. Number 6. Let's change colors. Choose which vocabulary word properly completes the statement. The expression 3x plus 8 plus 4x plus 2x has 4. Well, it has 1, 2, 3, 4. If you remember from class, each one of these guys right here is called a term. Not a like term. They're all different here. Well, not all, but this guy right here is different. So each one of these guys is classified as a term. Okay, none of these other guys. So terms. All right, number 7. The statement. A times the quantity of B plus 6 equals AB plus AC is an example of which property? Okay, well, what happened here was they went ahead and they took the A and distributed it to the B. They took the A and distributed it to the C. So when they distribute A times B is AB. They distributed A to the C, and they got AC. So that is the distributive property. Number 8. Find the greatest common factor of 20W and 45WT. Okay, well, obviously we have our answer over here, but let's see how we find that. Alright, let's change our color here. Oh, let's use black. Really boring. Okay. Oh, geez. Alright, we'll change it to something different. Okay, so, way to solve it. 20W, 45WT. So we go ahead and, let's see, did she already do it for you? Well, kinda. She listed out our factors here. It looks like this one right here actually should have been a 9, because 9 times 5 is 45. So the factors of 20 is 1 times 20, 2 times 10, 4 times 5. That's what gets you to 20. Then for 45, we have 1 times 45, 3 times 15, and 5 times 9. So what do they have in common? The largest number they have in common is 5. So they have a 5. What else do they have in common? Well, we notice they both have a W, so they have the 5s and they have the W. So our greatest common factor is 5W. Okay, number 9. Niles factored 10YZ plus 25XZ as 5X times the quantity of 2Z plus 5Z. Find his mistake and correct it. Okay, let's see. Well, I agree with him taking out 5, because the greatest common factor, as we found it right here, is 5. Perfect. But what he said that they both had in common was an X. Now I'm looking here, and there's an X here, but there's no X here. What he should have taken out was a Z in both places. So it should have said just what she wrote here, 5Z, and then it should have had in here the 2 would have had a Y left over, so 2Y plus 5X. So this would have been a properly factored out. Okay, so right here. Number 10. Some friends decided to equally split a bill that costs 6X plus $21. Who doesn't go to the restaurant and get a bill that costs 6X plus $21? How many friends split the bill? How much did each of them pay? Hint, factor that expression. Okie dokie. So, here we go. We find out that we have 6X and we have 21. So when we factor 6, we know that 1 times 6 equals 6, and we also know that 2 times 3 equals 6. 21, we have 1 times 21. 2 doesn't go into 21. 3 does go into 21. 7 times. 4 doesn't go into 21. 5 doesn't go into 21. 6 doesn't go into 21. 7 does. Okay, so I got back to 7, so I know I'm finished. So my greatest common factor here is 3. So I could go ahead and take out my 3, and 3 comes out, which means if I take a 3 out of 6, I'm still left with 2x, because 3 times 2x equals my 6x. Then if I divide 3 from 21, I have a 7. So 3 times 7 is 21. So here's my answer. The three friends each play 2x play. 3 friends each pay 2x plus $7. Okie. Alright, number 11. Thomas is confused about how to factor 15x plus 8. What should be his answer and why? Alright, so what you should do is, good old Thomas, he should have went ahead and done this. He should have listed out his factors for 15. 1 times 15. 2 doesn't go into it. 3 does. 3 times 5. 4 times, now 5, and then we're right back to 5. So there's your factors of 15. 8, we have 1 and 8. Good old 2 goes into it 4 times. Oops, should put a comma there. 3, no, so there are your factors. So I'm looking at these numbers, and nothing except 1. That tells me that nothing can be factored into it. So why is he confused? Well, he can't factor this with anything besides 1, so it really isn't going to change. That's why good old Thomas can't figure it out. Alright, number 12. Simplify each expression. Alright, I'm going to go ahead and do this the distributive way. I'm not sure exactly if that's how it's shown down here, but that's the way I've done it. So, choose your own method, look down below, or follow along with me. So we have 8p minus 3g, we'll pretend that looks like a g, minus g minus 10p. Oh, that doesn't look like a p at all. Alright, so first thing first, you're going to need to distribute that negative through. So let's bring down 8p minus 3g. Negative times a positive g, that's a negative g. Negative times a negative, that's a positive. So that turns into a positive 10p. Alright, let's look for some similar terms. Alright, I've got 8p's, I've got positive 10p's. 8 plus 10 is 18p. Then I'm going to change colors, and I'm going to look negative 3g and negative g. Negative plus a negative. Negative and a negative, same signs, find the sum. So 3 plus the 1 is a 4g. Keep the sign. So we have 18p minus 4g, or as she wrote it, negative 4g plus 18p. Both are correct. All right, 13. She right ahead goes ahead and shows you that first thing you have to do is distribute. So negative 2 times 4, that's where you get this negative 8. Negative 2 times 3.5r, negative times a positive is a negative. 2 times 3.5r is 7. So negative 7r. Then you go ahead and bring this negative 6 right on down here. So that's where we have this. Okay, we're looking for our common terms. So I have a negative 8. Do I have any other constants? Yes, I do. I have a negative 6. Don't forget the minus sign means negative. So I have a negative 8, negative 6. Same signs. Find the sum. 8 plus 6 is 14. Keep the sign. Negative 14. I bring down, I don't have any other r, so I bring down my negative 7r. So negative 7r minus 14, or we would also accept negative 14 minus 7r, or negative 14 plus negative 7r. That would be about it. All right, number 14. Number 14. So let's see what's going on here. We have a negative 11 outside of the parentheses. That looks like it needs to be distributed. Okay, negative 11 times a positive 3w. Negative times a positive is a negative. 11 times 3w 11 times 3 is 33. Add on the W. Negative 11 times negative 4. Negative times negative is a positive. 11 times 4 is 44, so that's where we have the positive 44. Next part, positive 6 times a positive W. Distribute that 6 through. 6 times W, positive 6W. Now we have a positive 6 times a negative 9. Remember, minus is negative. So positive times negative is a negative. 6 times 9, 54. So here's where we're at. Okay, go ahead and combine your like terms. I have negative 33W. I have a positive 6W. Negative and positive, different signs, find the difference. 33 minus 6 is 27. I have more negatives than positives, so it's a negative 27. Then I look up, do I have any other constants? I have a positive 44 here, negative 54 here, positive and negatives, different signs, find the difference. 54 minus 44 is 10. I have more negatives than positives, so it's a negative 10. So my answer is negative 27W minus 10, or I could also write it negative 10 minus 27W. Both answers would be correct. This is the way we would prefer. All right, number 15. We have 5 that needs to be distributed through. So we run the positive 5 to the j. 5 times j is 5j. 5 times negative 7k. Positive times negative is a negative. So 5 times negative 7, negative 35. Add on the k. Okay, big mistake here. People are going to forget the negative 10. So we're distributing the negative 10 to the positive 8j. Negative 10 times 8 is negative 80. Add on the j. Negative 80j. Negative 10 times positive k. Negative times a positive is a negative. 10 times k, just negative 10k. Okay, look for those common terms, those similar blah, blah, blah. Whatever. Looking for j's. 5j, negative 8j. I have a positive and a negative. Signs are different. Find the difference. 80 minus 5, 75. I have more negatives than positives, so negative 75j. Now I'm looking at my k's. I have a negative 35k, negative 10k. So same signs. Find the sum. 35 plus 10, 45. Keep the sign. So it's a negative 45k. So we've done it in alphabetical order here. You could also have negative 45k minus 75j. Both are suitable answers. All right, moving on up. All right, let's see where we're at here. 16. The perimeter of a triangular-shaped amphitheater is 100x plus 90 yards. The lengths of two sides of the amphitheater are 45x minus 10 yards and 25x plus 50 yards. What is the length of the remaining side? And draw a picture. Bada bing, bada boom. Here we go. There's your beautiful picture. So, we know here's a side, here's a side. Perimeter means that whole distance around. So when you add up all of these sides, you are going to get this guy. So we go ahead and we write 25x plus 50, bada bing, plus 45x minus 10, bada boom, equals 70x plus 40. Bada bing, bada boom. So, once we add these little doodads up, 25x, there's our x's, add our x's with our x's, 25x plus 45x equals 70x. Add our constants, 50 minus 10, 50 minus 10, positive 40. Okay? So, we now know that once we've added these up, if we subtract it from our perimeter, our full way around, if I'm taking this whole way around, if I subtract this from that guy, I'm going to find out what this remaining piece is. So that's what's going on here. We have our perimeter minus these sides. So I'm going to subtract it. Now the biggest thing I have to remember is I have to distribute that negative through. So negative times negative, negative times 70x, and a negative times 40. So negative times 70x is a negative 70x. Negative times 540, minus 40. So the problem that we have there is 100x plus 90 minus 70x minus 40. And I'm going to have my 100x and my negative 100x. Those are different signs. I have positive and I have negative. Subtract them. So 100 minus 70 is 30. I definitely have more positives, so that's a positive. Then I'm going to take my constants. I have a positive 90 and a negative 40. Signs are different again. So I'm going to subtract them. 90 minus 40 is 50. Again, I definitely have more positives, so it's plus 50. So if I were to say, what would my third side be? I would say 30x plus 50, or as beautifully as it's written right there. Okie dokie. Number 17, Marina is using X blue beads in a bracelet design. She will use 7 more red beads than blue beads. Write an expression in simplest form that represents the total number of beads in her bracelet design. Okay, so go to Marina. X blue beads in her bracelet design. 7 more red beads than blue beads. Okay, so we know that there's going to be X in her blue beads and then 7 more. Oops, pretend that looks like a plus in my world. So here's her red beads. Pretend that said beads. So X blue and 7 more red beads than blue beads. So boom. Okay, so X plus X is 2X. Tack on the 7 plus 7. So there are a total of 2X plus 7 beads. And again, word problem, write it out. Okay, let's move right on. Number 18. Shauna has Y pairs of shoes. Her brother has 5 fewer pairs. Her sister, oh my, there's a lot of shoes going on in this family. Her sister has, so here's Shauna, brother's 5 fewer pair. Her sister has triple the amount, dear Lord, triple the amount of shoes she has. Write an expression in simplest form that shows total pair of shoes. So little Shauna, there's the Y. Her brother has 5 fewer pairs. Well, fewer means minus, so that's why we have the Y minus 5. Her sister has triple the amount of shoes that she. So notice it says she, not her brother. So that's why it's 3y, not 3 times this little bad boy right here. Okay, so then we're going to write an expression in simplest form that represents the total of all 3 of them. So total means you're going to add all these little bad boys up. Y plus Y is 2y plus 3y. That's your 5y. Only constants, the minus 5, so 5y minus 5. So your little equation or expression is going to be, there are 5y minus 5 total pair of shoes. Bada bing, bada boom. All right, number 19. Says, use the admission cost table for problems 19 and 20. Here we go. Admission cost, admission ticket for weekday and weekend. Cost for a weekday is 6x plus 5. Weekend, holy skyrocket, 15x plus 10. So, number 19, write an expression in simplest form to show the total cost of a weekday ticket and weekend ticket. So, we're going to do the total cost of a weekday and a weekend ticket. That means we're going to add them. So, we're going to add our 6x plus 5 and our 15x plus 10, which is shown right here. So, we combine like terms. We have 6x plus 15x. When we do that, we get 21x. Then we take our constant of 5 plus 10. 5 plus 10 equals 15. So our final answer is 21x plus 15, or the total cost is 21x plus $15. Because it's a word problem, you'd write that out. B, what is the total cost if x equals 3? So now we know how many people are going. So we're going to take out the x and we're going to plug in 3. So 21 times the 3, so 21 times 3, plus our constant 15. 21 times 3, if you plug that into your handy-dandy calculator or you do the math, you're going to get 63. 63 plus 15. Do that good old math and you're going to get 78 bucks. So when x equals 3, the total cost of buying those, $78. Moving on up. Number 20. All right, number 20. Write an expression in simplest form to show how much greater the cost is for X people to purchase a weekend ticket than a weekday ticket. So now we're going to find the difference between the two. So the difference, that means you're going to subtract. So we're going to subtract 15x plus 10 minus 6x plus 5. So when we do that, we can distribute. So minus times 6x is negative 6x. Minus times positive 5 is minus 5. So now we have a positive 15 minus 6x. That's where you get your your positive 9x. Positive 10 minus 5 is your positive 5. So there's your expression. Then you'd write it out because it is a word problem. The weekend ticket cost. Weekend tickets cost $9x plus $5 more than your weekday ticket. Now, part B says, how much greater is the cost if x does equal 7? So now you're going to take this little dealie, take out your x, plug in your 7. This is an error, that should say plus. So 9 times 7, 63, plus 5. 63 plus 5, as shown here, is 68 bucks. So if 7 people were going to pay $68 more for weekend tickets than the weekday tickets. That's the ball game, folks. There aren't any more. Enjoy.